Wow, missing the point. What a treat. What a treat for me to be able to put out 2 shows this week. What a treat for you, listener, to be able to listen to both. I have a different cast today. The other show you should definitely listen to. It's an NBA playoff review, breakdown. Just talking about basketball with Mike Marcangelo. Feel free if you're into that sort of thing to listen to it. But I have the real BK Bob Kelly. This is the Power Rankings crew, the OG Power Rankings crew, the 2 men that did every single week of the Power Rankings, here to bring you guessed it. You guessed it from probably the title that Craig puts on the show after we are done recording it. It's a mock draft, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing a mock draft for tomorrow. Little lore, a little backstory to the draft as far as the missing the point crew goes. Bobby got really mad at me one time because I was making fun of watching the draft, like just making fun of the idea of watching it at all, because it was fun.
You come around to the dark side on the draft, though. I feel like you're way more into it this year now that the Bears have that top pick. Things are riding on this draft for you. I feel like
that's what I was gonna say.
I
feel a lot more invested in it these days. I still don't sit and watch the whole entire thing because it gets a little boring, I will say, but I will definitely tune in probably for the top 10. I'd say the top 10 picks I want to know because the Bears are out at 10. Where are the Cowboys picking? Remind me. 12, right after us. Wow, this is going to be an interesting one. Who did I have you guys picking? Okay, yeah, that's actually, I think we might agree on a lot of this, Bob. So here's how we're going to do it. Since Bob is our resident power rankings guru, the guy who does put names next to lists at Missing the Point, that is his definite title and role here at our podcast. I have my sort of cheat sheet mock draft that I've put up, but Bob spent some real time on his. It seems like he's got some hot takes. It seems like he's got fun things to say. So the format of this show, I think, is we're gonna go through. Bob's gonna tell me who he's got, and I'm gonna give myself. We're gonna do round 1. We're gonna talk about round 2 briefly, Bob. It's I think doing an entire mock draft and talking about position to position for the entire second round, it's gonna get less and less accurate, right? It's gonna get less and less possible to guess these moves that these teams are making. First round, from the first 15, I'd say we can come pretty close, unless there's like a crazy thing that happens, which a lot of times there is.
There's a couple shakeups in the middle of the top 15 that could really throw things
and why
off.
is that, Bobby? Because there's a couple dumb fucking teams in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a couple stupid fucking teams that might make a couple of strange decisions. Looking at you, Jacksonville. So we have our mock drafts in front of us. I'm really excited to hear Bobby's. So Bobby, I want you to take it away with the number 1 pick in the 2025 MTP mock draft. You're having, and we're not doing trades, right? You don't have any trade scenarios set up on yours?
I thought about putting trades in, but that was just a little too extreme.
It gets a little hairy. It gets a little hairy.
Yeah,
so,
it's a little hectic.
I think we can talk about possible trades when we get into the nitty-gritty of each pick. Maybe it's smarter for X team to trade back 4 spots, et cetera, but I don't think there's any need to have it in the draft. The picks are the picks as far as we're concerned right now. So yeah, I did the whole preamble and then I just kept talking, which is honestly my trademark. So the first pick in the 2025 mock draft, who do you have the just absolutely turgid, terrible, tremendously bad Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans? Who do you got him taking first overall? And I think I can guess.
Yeah, this has been locked in for a while now. It's Cam Ward from Miami.
Yeah.
There was talk of trading down. If Cam Ward was in last year's draft, I don't even think he would be in the first round.
It's a rough year for QBs, I have to say.
He'd be the 4th or 5th quarterback taken if this was last year. Definitely behind May, Williams, and Daniels. I don't know about Nix. He might have been in the mix above Nix, but he's a no-brainer here. They don't have a quarterback. They have Will Levis, who is absolutely garbage. So Cam Ward's definitely the pick here. I don't know if there is another pick that they could pick here. If they weren't a quarterback needy, I could see someone like Abdul Carter because he's so good going off the board this early. But they need a quarterback, so it's Cam Ward.
Okay, here's what I'll say in defense of Cam Ward, just because along my research, I came across a fact that I think really matters when it comes to how you draft your quarterbacks in the draft, only because the Bears have made this mistake in the other direction. What I think is really good about Cam Ward and what I think is really good for the Tennessee Titans selecting him and why they don't really have an issue at, like maybe he's not, the Draft Day, Kevin Costner. You ever seen that movie? It's fucking great if you haven't seen it.
Great movie. It's
Yeah,
on Netflix right now. It's on
yeah, it's so
Netflix.
good. It's so good.
I want my
It's-
goddamn picks back, and I want
Yeah.
goddamn David Putney.
Enjoy your fucking pancakes.
Enjoy
Love
your
that
fucking
movie.
you pancake eating motherfucker.
Great movie. Now I just want to talk about Draft Day. We really got to do that idea of doing the movie podcast one time in the near future. Jaylen Brown's absolutely taking over right now. So I think it's really a good idea if you're taking a quarterback really high to have a lot of tape on him. When you look at Cam Ward, you look at a guy that's played in the college system for quite some time. You have a lot of snaps that you can look at and plug into your offense, or design an offense around him based on his skill set. When the Bears drafted Mitch Trubisky, he played like 18 games, right? So as much as like he actually started pretty good, like, very similar to, oh Jesus, I can't even remember his fucking name now. Who's the guy before Drake Maye in New England? The guy I always said was going to be a backup forever.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Very similar to Mac Jones. It's like you really just want tape on the guy, so at least you know what you're getting, right? At least you can, to the best of your ability, try to up your standards as far as the research and development of the whole thing goes, right? So to me, yes, this is a no-brainer. I'm not vetoing the Cam Ward pick at all. I'm not gonna attack your pick here. Obviously, I think this is what's gonna happen. But if you're the Titans, would you really be that upset about it? I know he might not be the same caliber of ceiling and potential that we might have seen in last year's draft, hopefully, or the year before. But you're not that mad if you're taking Cam Ward number one overall, right? You don't have to overthink it.
No. You take Cam Ward. He's there. He's the consensus number one. I saw early on people had Sanders ranked above Ward, but I just feel like Ward has the arm strength. He's got the athleticism that Sanders doesn't have, so that's why it's Ward over Sanders. It's got to be. If you're looking quarterback, it's got to be Ward at this point.
But then, if that happens, I mean, I don't want to bury the lead here, but if that happens, are we then saying whoever, even if it's not Sanders, say they do shock everybody and they pick Sanders instead of Ward, right? The other QB, the guy who's not picked, he's gonna fall. Like he's just gonna,
Yeah.
right? So if you're Sanders, then I mean, the thing is, the Browns, I guess, could still draft Sanders, right? Like that could potentially happen. But like with all the talk in the media, I very much doubt it. It seems like Travis Hunter is like heading there, not to like bury the lead on number 2. But what is, like, if that shakeup happens, are we going to get affected then on the show of like, oh, they know what they're doing. Sanders isn't all that. It's not all he's cracked up to be. Does that then, because it's Sanders, fuck up the possibility of what happens in Las Vegas when you get into the middle of the first, and of the top 10? Does all that stuff throw a huge wrench in the works comparatively to if, say, Ward fell? I mean, that would actually be a bigger wrench, to be honest with you. If they did something crazy and pick Sanders, I wonder if like then every team on the board has to really reconsider and like to start to think about what they're going to do. But
that's literally like a draft day scenario where
it is.
They don't
Nobody
pick
came to the
top
party.
quarterback and then he keeps falling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is what would happen, but I don't see that happening. Ward's going number 1. I don't see them pulling a fast one and picking Sanders. I don't think that's happening.
And you don't think, and like you said, you alluded a little bit earlier, like maybe they just grab Abdul Carter because the name is really like creeping up and up and up as far as like his actual ability, or a Travis Hunter Heisman Trophy, like what just pick the guy.
No, it's Cam Ward.
All right, tell me what happens in number 2.
Travis Hunter. He's the no-brainer here. They could go quarterback. I could definitely see them picking Shedeur Sanders. I feel like that is a possibility. But at this point, Travis Hunter is such an electric playmaker on both sides of the ball. I mean, the dude literally said he would retire if he couldn't play both sides of the ball. So I'll go with Travis Hunter here. I feel like you could argue quarterback, and that's what some people are going to do, which would, kind of stand out. The Patriots at number 4, and the Patriots are definitely hoping the Browns pick a quarterback here. They're definitely hoping they pick Sanders, Patriots fans worldwide. But I don't see it. Right now, Vegas doesn't see it either. Last time I checked, Hunter was minus 900 to go here. So Vegas is really favoring the Browns picking Hunter. And I mean, you can't go wrong with Travis Hunter. I mean, the dude won the Heisman because He's literally the Shohei Ohtani
He's a
of
fucking
football.
phenom. Yeah.
He's
Like,
unbelievable, dude.
yeah.
And people are saying that in the NFL you can't play both ways. Travis Hunter's literally come out and said, "I'm playing both ways. There's nothing you can do to stop me," and that's what's gonna happen.
I
Which I
mean,
love. I love that he came out to do
I
that
do love
because
the attitude. Don't get me wrong, but like there is something that someone could do to stop him. Like a coach could just draft him and be like, no.
I mean
So
that's true, but
it's I just
that
think
takes away the edge.
I mean, I really the thing is I know how you think about players and I know how you think about potential and I know the way your imagination works after 5 years of doing this podcast. And I'm with you because I think it's the way to be. You hope he does. You hope he does play both sides of the ball and it translates, and he's able to become the make the kind of impact he did in college in the NFL. I mean, I'm optimistic. It'll be awesome to watch. It'll be fucking awesome to watch. Like that would be so cool. It's just I do understand why people are saying that's potentially not going to happen because it's just we haven't really seen it since what, Dion?
That's just Dan didn't do it much.
Yeah.
At least not as much as Travis Hunter wants to do it. I mean, Travis Hunter is literally playing 90% of Colorado's plays in college, which I mean, I feel like is unsustainable. He can't do that in the NFL. But I feel like he could get to like 60 or 70%. You know what I mean? Put him in as like a nickel or dime
I was
on
gonna say,
defense.
Kristaps Porzingis is bleeding heavily out of his head. He
Oh
is
no.
so much out of his face. Sorry to derail you there. It was just a shocking amount of blood. Talk about the Magic being physical, huh? Good God, I got to see what happened here. Oh, come on. That's flagrant. Surely. He dropped a power bomb on him.
So I've seen it.
That's bananas. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, the NFL draft. Yeah, I mean, look, it'll be cool. I think the Browns would like still have a lot of fun players on their team, even if they were probably still pretty far away from being anything close to competing. And if he does go to the Browns, I think you favor the snaps on the defensive side of the ball, so that you can really try to make like an elite defense and try to do something from that, like Steelers style. Like our defense is so good that it doesn't matter how bad our offense is, because their offense, you know what I mean? Like what are they really going to do? So it might be a couple years for Travis Hunter, and it might be a little bit sad that he goes to Cleveland because I don't know if you know this, but the Browns have fucking never been good. So, we might lose him to the who gives a shit Olympics, right? That's the tough part about being so good. You get drafted in the top 3 because you're going to a fucking terrible team most of the time. All right, I'm with you. No argument here. Travis Hunter at 2. Who you got coming out at 3, and why is his name Abdul Carter?
This is the final pick of the draft. It's really locked in. He's one of the final blue chip prospects. There's one more that have come off the board. Surprisingly, I feel like pretty high in this draft. But Abdul Carter is Micah Parsons 2.0. You know what I mean? He's number 11 coming out of Penn State. Same exact type blueprint. This dude is just a beast coming off the edge. He has all the intangibles that you look for in an edge rusher. I've seen the Giants are fielding trade inquiries for this pick, but I feel like that would just be so stupid if you're Joe Shannon to trade this pick.
Yeah, you know what the Giants are tending to do though in the past few years is
really
stupid
things,
shit.
right? So I could see them moving this pick. I could see it because they are that stupid. But if you're smart, you pick up Abdul Carter here because he's such a beast, dude. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, talk about Patriots fans really hoping somebody drops. I mean, if I was a Patriots fan, this is the guy I'd be hoping for. I've entertained outside imaginary situations where the Bears trade up and try to grab him if he's still on the board somehow. There's also the trade up and maybe get Ashton Genty. But I mean, if you're the Giants and you don't take Abdul Carter, like I don't think anyone ever needs to take you seriously ever again. Like that's absolutely crazy. If you're in this exact position that you're describing, you got to go get that guy. And if he falls to the Patriots, I'll be on this podcast saying they can't keep getting away with this. Like they just can't keep getting fucking away with this because that would just be so upsetting. As someone who had to become like a professional Pats hater over the course of, the first 20 years of my life. So yeah, I mean, that seems like a no brainer. No argument here. Let's start to get into the sauce. Abdul Carter's off the board. What happens when our podcast home team comes up? The New England Patriots with the 4th pick in the 2025 NFL draft. The New England Patriots select. They're in a tough spot right now, Bob. If
Yeah.
everything's gone according to what you're saying, right? Like the fourth pick is a little upsetting if those three
Fourth
guys are
pick
off
in
the
a
board.
3-player draft. In a 3-player
Yeah.
draft, you have the fourth pick.
Yeah. And like I know they were never really gonna look at drafting a quarterback, but that's tough. But you're really hoping one of Hunter or Carter comes down to you. So say that your scenario is what happens. What do you have the Patriots doing?
So, I mean, the easy pick here is what I have is Will Campbell. I know that his arm length is scared a lot of people away here, but you have an opportunity to protect Drake Maye for years to come. And this guy, his tape is unbelievable. I've been watching his tape, and he doesn't miss any blocks. He's everywhere he needs to be. His arms don't seem to make a difference. You know what I mean? He had a dominant year at LSU. So, I mean, I know that was like a big thing coming out at first, but if you have a chance to protect Drake Maye for years to come, you do it. I have seen a lot of drafts where they do trade down, which is a possibility here. I feel
It
like,
seems like the first real possibility of a trade down is
right.
is F4. I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if it happened to the top three, considering the team's needs to what they are able to draft sort of ratio. I'd be really surprised if any trades happen. But if you're the Pats, I would honestly, that's what I would recommend doing if the draft has gone this way and you can't get one of those two guys we discussed previously. I would trade down and try to get two guys because I think you're drafting from the same pool of talent moving forward. Right. I think if you can stay in the first round with two picks somehow, you or early second round even. I think you're probably drafting in the same pool of guys. Guys that, a couple of them are going to fail, a couple of them are going to succeed, a couple of them are going to be elite, and a couple of them are going to be like injury prone messes. Like this is just how you play the numbers, right? So you just go back into the pool, try to maximize the pick as best you can at that point would be my advice. But taking Will Campbell is also not a terribly stupid thing to do. Like I think that if you want to just do that, I think you're absolutely fine because realistically, he probably is the most likely player from the best of the rest category that could still just be a blue chipper, right? Like the arm length thing has been a conversation for the entirety of the offseason, but like you're saying, he just still could be just as important of a pickup as the three guys we've mentioned before. It's just not as much of a lock, right? So you just do the smart thing there and you say, we've got our guy at quarterback. Let's put some protection around him for the love of God, considering he was running for his fucking life in the games that he did play last season. It does seem like a bit of a no-brainer. I could see it going either way. Do you think I'm nuts to say trade back? Do you think it would be laughing at them for not taking Will Campbell? Or do you think it's like, yeah, they maybe can maximize?
Well, it depends what you're getting offered at this point. You know what I mean? You have to weigh. It's like in draft day we keep talking about it, but it's like you have to weigh if you're getting a few first round picks for that pick because someone wants to come up and get a quarterback, then you absolutely do that. But if the haul is first or second rounder, then Will Campbell, I feel like at this point is a guy you can plug and play day one, and you don't pass on that usually, especially when you have a franchise quarterback you're trying to protect. And he's by far and away the top tackle prospect. It's not like there's someone else that's really pretty that's like in the middle besides Membu, I guess, that you could trade back for. You know what I mean? There's those two guys. That's it. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think you're crazy for it, but I feel like Campbell is the pick.
All right. If you insist, we're gonna keep moving forward. I'm not gonna argue with you here. That was the first one I thought about maybe trying to Rochambeau you for it, but I think that's fine. Will Campbell goes fourth. What happens next? This is where we start getting into the really dumb teams. The next four teams are kind of dumb. So we're gonna have to be a little careful about what we do here. This could really go either way. Did you get spicy with any of these next few picks?
So I thought about getting spicy here and putting Genty with the Jaguars because I've seen a lot of movement saying the Jaguars thinking of picking him. They love his, numbers. They love everything he's done in the offseason. They love his tape. But I already have two pretty good running backs And
They got one
E-
pretty good running back
ETN
and then
and
one not
Bigsby.
so good running back.
Yeah, well, they're not bad though. You know what I mean? And they're good enough. I don't
They're
feel like you
worse than
can.
you always think they are when you draft them in fantasy. They're like, I feel like I have
That's
one of
very
those
true.
guys on my team all the time, and I'm like, ugh, I fucking said that he was good again. And like, why did I do that to myself?
Especially ETN. ETN's such a letdown, I feel
100%.
like. Yeah.
100%.
But I have them picking Mason Graham here. I just feel like the D tackle out of Michigan. I feel like shoring up the inside line for Jacksonville. You can never have too many run stoppers, and this is what this guy does. He stops the run. He's the number one run stopper in the drafts this year. So I go Mason Graham. I thought about putting Genty here. I really, really did. Yeah, I feel like Genty falls a little further. Mason Graham here at number 5.
Okay. I think it's a pretty fair pick. It's pretty high for Mason Graham, don't you think? Like for a D tackle, 5'5", like couldn't the Jaguars conceivably roll back and maybe get him a little bit later, and then maybe get like a couple a couple makeup picks later in the draft to just move back a few spots and still get him if that's their guy?
It's possible. It's possible. But I mean, do you take the chance that he gets picked? Because Mason Graham is the best D tackle prospect in the league.
Yeah, I
Um,
know, I agree.
and that's become like a top tier position. You saw who's the guy the Pats just signed? Who isn't even that top tier of a guy, and he got paid all that money. Teams are looking to stop the run because that's what teams are going back towards this year. And Mason Graham is that type of guy. So I feel like the Jags they're looking at that division that they're in, and it's right for the taking. So to me, it's Mason Graham. I understand what you're saying though, for sure.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I had a few different possibilities happening here. I had Genty as a possibility. I had Kelvin Banks as a possibility. I mean, that's a little bit less likely, I think, because this is the scenario where Will Campbell's already off the board, right? So if they decide to just go best player available, I think a Kelvin Banks wouldn't be a terrible idea at this point, especially if you're just trying to do a build from the trenches like approach. It wouldn't be splashy, it wouldn't be crazy, but it would be like the right thing to do with the value of the pick, if that makes sense, in my opinion. I think the same way for the Raiders. I think if the Raiders wanted a Jalen Walker, a Kelvin Banks, and Ashton Genty, if any of those guys are still on the board, I think these are the names we're talking about. But yeah, I think if Mason Graham goes this early, I didn't have him go until I think like 12 or 13, but I'm fine to do that here. I don't think it would be the worst pick in the world for them because honestly, they're a team that needs everybody. And if they pick Genty, I think you're right. It's like the one area they kind of have guys. So why would you pick that area? It's like the one fucking thing you kind of have. So why would you like just pick something you like actually need so you can start building and build from the trenches like I was just saying. Even if it is on the defensive side of the ball, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So all right, let's keep it official MTP prediction for number 5. Let's move on to number 6. Kelvin Banks Jr. is still on the board. Jalen Walker's still on the board. The 2 tight ends are still on the board. Yeah, there's still guys. There's still guys that can go. So who do you have in this scenario where everybody's pretty safe picked right now as far as this goes, as far as your list goes? Who do you have the Raiders picking? Is Sanders going off the board right now?
No, they have Geno. So Geno's the quarterback there, and they need someone to protect him. So to me, this was between Membu and Banks. So it depends on what the Raiders like more. I could also see them taking Genty, because
I can see that.
The Raiders love making splashes. They love getting those flashy guys in the first round. So Genty is definitely a possibility here. I don't have them taking him because I have him going to a more interesting team a little bit later on. But to me,
Big market team.
to me, I think the pick here is Membu. I have Membu over Banks in my rankings. Membu from Missouri, he's an offensive tackle. He was the right tackle at Mizzou, but he can play both sides. So he can play left and right.
Yeah, but play him right. Play him right if you're running it back with a left-handed quarterback, right? So it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
I like Membu there.
Wait, Geno's left-handed, right? Or am I making that up?
I think he's ready.
Is he a righty? Oh, you know what? I have Membu going. I have him going later to the Dolphins. Because you can play him at right tackle and it would help out Tua. So that's why I was thinking.
That'd be a good pick for him. Yeah, no, that'd be a good pick.
If he's there, I think that would really work for them. But That's fine. I'm really still not interested in fighting on that one. I think Membu going to the Raiders would actually be a really smart move by the Raiders, to be honest. I think if they got either Kelvin Banks or Membu, I think they'd be in a good spot, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I think it'd be more likely they take Kelvin Banks, though, don't you? I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on who's the better tackle, but I think I know who the market thinks the better tackle is, right? I think I know who I think the teams think that Kelvin Banks is a more sure bet. No,
Yeah, I mean, he played against better competition, Texas over Missouri for sure. I mean, both SEC, but Texas is a little more blue chippy than Missouri
yeah,
is. So I see it, but I just see the versatility of Membu being able to move back and forth between right and left.
yeah.
Just having that versatility there just kind of puts him above, in my opinion.
Okay,
But
that's fair.
I'm okay with Banks too, because I had to decide between the two. Banks comes off the board soon, so he doesn't fall very much further. But
Okay,
they're both great prospects for sure.
okay. What happens at 7 with the New York Jets?
So the last time the Jets picked this position this high, it was one of the more broadcasted moments in NFL draft history when they picked Kyle Brady. Was like, yeah, he's picking the draft. I have them picking Tyler Warren here.
Oh,
Yeah, I know that's kind of sad news for you. I know you kind of want
it's
Tyler
not.
Warren to
It's
the
not.
uh,
I have a whole thing about that.
okay.
I was gonna do a whole fucking hot take when we got to 10. So don't even worry about me.
Okay, perfect. So I had to take Tyler Warren here. They need weapons, and Tyler Warren not only brings pass catching, he's a yards after the catch monster. He was at Penn State, but he also blocks really, really well. And that's exactly what the Jets need. So he brings a lot to that offense that they don't have right now. Garrett Wilson's their top option. Other than that, they have Josh Reynolds, Alan Lazard, and that's pretty much it. He catch the ball. So Tyler Warren would come in and be top two option on the offense right away.
I
So
mean, that's a
I
new
feel like
look offense. They
he's a
got
no
Justin
brainer.
Fields in there now. You know, if you give him someone that like a real pressure release valve to really try to recapture some of the magic that Fields had in Chicago. I mean, he was still winning games in Pittsburgh, even if it didn't look like absolutely fantastic in the last couple. I think you and I are fans of him, and we like watching him play football. I think he can make some moves in New York, especially if you give him a guy like Tyler Warren. I've obviously watched an incredible amount of tape on Tyler Warren because there's a lot of sniff around. It's less so now. I think probably 2 weeks ago, everybody had Tyler Warren going to the Bears, right? I think that was like
Mhm.
pretty much completely declared. It's looking less and less likely because it just looks like Tyler's draft stock has gone up since people have really started to take a look at him. And you're right. I mean, the tape looks unbelievable. I think he'd be I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Rob Gronkowski, but if you're talking archetypes, I think that's kind of the guy that you're looking at. You know, size, speed, athleticism, really, really hard to tackle. He can also block. You know, you can play him in a two tight end set. You can get him over the middle. You can sometimes get him outside. He's just a problem. You know, he's really, really a problem. And like he could be a huge part of any offense that drafts him. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it would be amazing if we got him, but I'm just not 100% sure the Bears necessarily need that on the offensive side of the ball like a New York Jets would, right? Like because they need something. You know, they need something else other than Wilson for them to actually do something. And the only way is up from their offense in that turgid Aaron Rodgers year. So I think it'd be a really good pick for them. I'm not going to bitch, moan, and complain because I'm pretty sure Warren's going to be off the board IRL. And when we get to 10, I'll explain what I've done to make myself feel better about that. And it's going to be fun once we get there. So yeah, no argument from me. Moving right along, the Carolina Panthers. What do you have them doing?
And they have so many needs. So to me, I just see them picking the best player off the board. And to me, right now, that's Jalen Walker, edge from Georgia. Uh, it's surprising. I feel like in past years he wouldn't have fallen this far, but there is some guys at the top that just weren't getting taken above him. He's an off-ball linebacker for a defense that has a lot of holes to fill. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he can move around a lot. He can play inside. He can play outside. So you have a lot of versatility with Walker. I like Jalen Walker as a prospect. I'm surprised that no one would jump on him, but it just doesn't make sense so far.
There's talk of great locker room guy, physical specimen, imperfect as a defender. I think is the sort of general report card on him. Like not very coachable issues that he has, but it seems like some of the stuff we have to do with him there's a bit of a project to be built on there. So if you're talking a top 10 pick, I do think he warrants a top 10 pick because I think that if he's going to be a culture leader and he has all the physical tools and the stuff you can't teach, then I don't know. I mean, I feel like it is a good pick, honestly, for the Panthers because they need to start over. And if he's the kind of culture dude that everybody seems to say that he is, and like he's winning these like most loved player on his team and his class, like all this different, like everybody by all survey and accounts, like people just like this guy. So I actually had him going already. I didn't quibble with you too hard, but I had him going to the Jets. I had 2 defensive picks for these teams back to back because I think that's where they should be building from. But I think this would be a really good pick for anybody that gets him. Another guy that if he was there, depending on what's happened 1 through 9, but if he's there, I'm happy for the Bears to take him too, to be totally honest with you, because we need a little bit of a cultural shakeup. I know that our coach is the one that's supposed to be doing that, like more than anyone else. But at the end of the day, another guy I really would not be mad if he fell to us. If Will Campbell fell to us, I wouldn't be that mad. If any of these players, it looks like you have Genty falling to us, unless something crazy happens. So cool. I'm not going to argue with you there. Let's go with that. What about number 9, the New Orleans Saints?
Kelvin Banks. So he doesn't fall past here. Kelvin Banks goes to the Saints. I had them thinking about Sanders because obviously quarterbacks need Derek Carr blows. He's obviously not the answer quarterback for them, but Kelvin Banks is too good to pass up here. I don't think Sanders is good enough of a prospect to pass up on a generational tackle like Kevin Banks. So I have Banks going here. I don't have him falling any further than that.
Okay. I'm cool to talk about the Bears now then, right? Because I am still going to do the same thing based on all the picks that you've made. I'm still making the same move. I was going to say until we got here that if Genty has fallen to 10, I don't know if it's even that crazy of a fall. Like he's a running back. Like let's all just take a breath. I know we're running the ball more in the NFL these days. I get it, but if he's still falling, I think I'm still taking Colston Loveland in this situation. Like I still think I'm taking the other tight end. Yeah, wow. I think I'm giving Ben Johnson. Do you remember when they drafted Gibbs and I was like, why? Like I was the whole guy being like, well, why the fuck did they do that with it? Like like I don't understand. Like they have a good running back. I don't get it. They have an every down guy already. And yeah, I was proven wrong to a certain extent because like obviously it looked like absolutely fire with Gibbs in there. But I wonder if you ask yourself, like, was it still an overloaded area for the Detroit Lions where that kind of stock could have been used in smarter, in other better directions? And quite frankly, when we're in a running back class that, tell me if you disagree with this next statement, and I'll stop it right there and we can have an argument about that. But I think we're in a pretty deep running back class at this point.
It is deep.
I think you can get a great running back in the second round to be your every down back, and if you're trying to use DeAndre Swift like intelligently. What I would love to see us overload at positionally is tight end. Because if we had Loveland and Kmet, man, I mean, if you really think about when that Ben Johnson scheme looked real pretty, it wasn't when Montgomery was like smashing into the line. And occasionally there'd be a really big Jahmyr Gibbs, like, breakout run. And obviously it's going to make the highlights. But when that offense looked really good, it was when they were cutting up the middle of the field. And if you had the next Sam Laporta plus Cole Kmet, and you give those kind of release valve options to a second-year Caleb Williams that's actually going to be under the tutelage of a guy that's like decent, like a decent offensive mind at the very minimum, I'm really happy with how that looks offensively. So my first edging veto is to push your Genty pick out of the way, and okay. I want to give Loveland to the Bears. Is that crazy? Am I so dumb if I do that?
No, there's not. I mean, it'd be a shocker for sure. Loveland's a hell of a prospect. I have him going a little bit later in the first round. He doesn't fall much further in my. So I mean, it's not crazy. I think it's crazy to pass on Genty if you're the Bears. Cause
you think he's that good?
I just feel like Ben Johnson would love Genty and Swift in his backfield. It'd be just like he had in Detroit with Gibbs and Montgomery.
But it would be the opposite, though, right? Because Genty would be your every down guy. He'd be your Montgomery. And then you'd have the Swift as the Gibbs, right? Like, so you'd be relying on him to be a gadget guy. I think I don't think he's as impressive as a runner as Gibbs, obviously. but he does have breakout like play potential. He does have like jump over a guy highlight reel potential, but also I think if you use him correctly, he has a better all around game. Like I think you can use him in like in passing attack. I think he can't block. That's
He
fine.
definitely can't block.
But like, but you know, I mean, what about Genty? Can he fucking block? Like that wasn't in the fucking highlight in any of the tapes. He's not like Montgomery like that. You know what I mean? Like Montgomery has like such a versatile skill set. So it's hard to see them actually replicating that with those guys. I understand why you would think that, but to me, I think he's actually going to have to do something a little bit different in the backfield than he did there regardless. It'd be pretty close. I get it. Like archetypally, I get it, but it's like he also has to evolve. You know, he can't just do like another rendition of what the Lions offense was, because if we're being realistic, yeah, it'd be great to have that backfield. But dude, I mean, we drafted the number 1 overall pick last year. I want that guy to be the focus of the offense. Like I do. I know what I'm going to be like once the season comes around, and I'm going to want Caleb Williams to have the ball in his hands. Like because I want to see him get better. I want to see him get the reps. So yeah, that'd be fun and everything. But like for me, I'm building it around Caleb still. Like we got to ride with that guy. We still need to get him a running back to complement Swift in the backfield so we can start to build the offense, like and you know, build on the run and everything. I get that. But I think there's plenty of really good guys. Spoiler alert, if we do talk about the second round, Henderson for me. He's the no-brainer coming in. A lot of people are saying he split a workload in his last year, but that's fine. That just means there's less miles on him. So I'll take him. I think that'd be fun. And then we could just ride with that sweet 2 tight end set, which I know that Johnson's going to run anyway. So we might as well have the personnel, right?
I don't hate it. It definitely throws a wrench into my mock draft, but we can do it.
That's where things get fun. Okay.
So Loveland 10 to the Bears. We're doing it.
Loveland 10 to the Bears. So that means Genty's still on the board. So do the San Francisco 49ers take him?
No, they don't.
Wow. No.
They still have McCaffrey, so they don't take him. He falls another pick.
Wow.
I have them taking Mikael Williams, the edge from Georgia. Another top Georgia player off the board. It seems like this is just a yearly tradition of looking Georgia players that are just unbelievable. The 49ers continue their tradition to add to another front seven that has Nick Bosa already. Putting Mikael Williams opposite of him would be pretty awesome. You know, he's raw for sure, but he's just a freak athlete. And he'll learn from Bosa, who has some of the best moves in the game. 49ers lost a few guys off the D-line this offseason, so I have them taking Mikael Williams here.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. I had the same thing. I think he's got 49er written all over him. And I think that even if you look at the draft in a different way than we've had it go, I still think everything that moves around him, I think he stays. I mean, I think there's a chance that the Saints grab him. There's a chance that the Panthers grab him. You know, there's a couple of teams that might take him, but I actually do think he's going to fall a little bit to the 49ers. And I think that's going to be a huge pickup for them. And yeah, the guy that he's going to learn under, everything. Like this is best case scenario for him, I think. I think it would go really well for him if he ended up in San Francisco. I think it'd be the best for his development as a player. So I'm good with that. We're here at your Cowboys, and I know you were trying to give me Ashton Genty, and I'm trying to give you Ashton Genty now. So I now have the Cowboys getting Genty, and I think it fits. I think it's the thing you need. I think it's the thing that brings that offense back to life and resuscitates it. I think it makes you a legitimate team again. And it's a position that you need badly to address, and you keep not. So, what do you say? You want him?
He's on the board. Genty is the guy. I have them taking Matthew Golden, especially because he was off the board, and Golden would be a perfect complement to CD Lamb. He could take the top off the offense. But if Genty's still on the board here, every time I've done a mock Genty's on the board, I pick him. So Genty's okay with me here. They did sign some running backs this offseason. They got Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, but those two guys aren't.
You need a real guy.
Right. We need the guy.
It's more than you did 2 off seasons ago. I'll say that, but it's still not enough. That one kid that was good, that kind of came appeared. What was his name? The really hard runner. Is he back? Yeah.
No, he went to Carolina.
Ah, Jesus Christ! I would have kept him and forget those other 2 guys and then drafted high. I don't know. We'll see. if Gentzy's on the board, you got to take him. I understand that. If he's not, I had I had you guys taking a wide receiver also, but I had it as McMillan from Arizona.
Yeah, 10 is pretty good.
I mean,
I just picked Golden because he's opposite of CD. Right? It is kind of in the same realm with CD, where he's, super long, super athletic, a good route runner. I just figured
you guys are
Golden
absolutely
would take the
enormous.
ball.
You guys are absolutely enormous if you take Tet though. Like he's like what 6'6", 6'5". Like
Yeah,
I
6'5".
mean that's just like that's a match made in heaven too, to be honest with you. And he's kind of got like a little bit of he's got like a Cowboys energy. I don't know. He just sort of fits in my head. I wasn't thinking about other wide receiver options for you guys, but I did have you taking him there. I don't think it'd be the craziest thing in the world if they took Golden. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, he's firepower.
Loves speed, especially from Texas.
I know. For me, it's because like I just love size. I like when guys are like fucking freak athletes. It's like get them in there. They're fucking huge. You know what I mean? And it's like they just look good in the Cowboys silver. All right, that's fine. I don't want to keep fucking you up, and it's your team. So if you don't want to put Genty there to fix your draft moving forward.
No, we could put Genty there. It's fine with me. I'm okay with Cowboys getting Genty.
Okay, great.
If the Cowboys walk away and draft it with Ashton Genty, I would be very, very happy.
Amazing. So it's worked out.
That would make me very happy. Yeah.
Dolphins.
Will Johnson, quarterback from Michigan. They have a lot of needs to fill. I could see them trading up, trying to get one of the tackles, Membu or what's his name? How am I forgetting his name? Membu or Banks. I could see that happening.
Calvin Banks, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that, especially Membu, because he can play both sides. Like we said, he could play the right, protect to his blind side. I could see that happening. But if
that's
they
who
don't,
I had there.
Yeah,
but you already have him off the board,
right? And if they don't, they lost Jalen Ramsey. They need a cornerback, so I had them taking Will Johnson. Will Johnson's a guy that, he doesn't get many interceptions, but that's because they don't throw the ball his way a lot. At least they did in college. He had 9 over 3 years, which is pretty good for a shutdown corner. So I have them taking Will Johnson here.
I think they're on the record saying they're going offensive line or secondary. They're looking, their needs are cornerback, safety, and I think tackle, as much as everybody's needs is tackle. But yeah, I think the versatility there, I think would really work as far as like a shutdown corner that they really need. I mean, they need work on the defensive side of their ball. They should go early on defense, because that's the thing that I think is really lacking year on year in Miami. I mean, you can be this offensive guru from that offensive guru coaching tree all you want. You got to figure out the other side of the ball. I mean, it was a big reason why I was so pumped that the Bears went and got Dennis Allen to be the defensive coordinator, because it's like, if you're not, you don't have to be good at everything, Ben. You don't have to be good at everything. Just get somebody smart to figure out the defense, and like we'll go from there. So yeah, I mean, I really don't hate the pick. What about the Colts?
So this is where I had Loveland going, because the Colts love them tight end. They always have. Dallas Clarke goes down in history. They've had some good tight ends. I haven't taken Loveland. If he's off the board, I don't think Golden would be a bad pick here. Another guy to take the ball, stop off the offense for Anthony Richardson, or who did they bring the guy, or Daniel Jones, one of the two. Do you think it'd be crazy for them to take Sanders here? I don't think it'd be crazy. But I think there'd be
a lot of talk at this point. I think there'd be a lot of talk at this point if Sanders was still on the board, right? Like, I think it'd be really, like, they'd be saying things like, this is the first time in blank amount of years that 2 quarterbacks haven't been selected in the top. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, it would be a conversation. So there might be a little pressure to go, fuck it. Like, what if he's sick? Like, what if he's good? Like, let's just do it. I would want to move on after what I saw in last season, wouldn't you? I mean, there was some really diabolical moments, like it was really, really bad. I mean, the just being tired thing alone. I mean, I thought he was going to be a lot better than that. I thought it was going to be a lot of fun to watch him play in the NFL, but Richardson was bad, dude. So I don't know. It would be a splash. It would be a splash, and it would be ballsy of us, I think, to put Sanders as the pick here, to be totally honest with you. I think that would be fun, but it's up to you at the end of the day. I'm not gonna fight you too hard on it. I think the smart money would probably be, like go and get the tight end. If one or both of those tight ends, I think it'll probably be one or none. But if one or both of those tight ends are available to you, I'd say probably go get them. But they do have a problem at QB, and I think it'd be a fun call if we made it. But up to you.
I don't think we do it. I think we put Golden here.
All right.
because I feel like they need weapons on offense, and if the tight end's not there, they do have a need a wide receiver too. So we'll go there.
Okay. What about the Atlanta Falcons?
So I have a kind of twist here. I have Mike Green, edge from Marshall, going here. He had 17 sacks in 2024. The fill was great. He doesn't play many top tier opponents, so I mean that could definitely water down the tape a bit. They need edge rushers bad, and I feel like in a draft loaded with him, Mike Green is a very good underrated prospect. He's from Marshall. He has the talent there. He has off field stuff that goes on, but I like Mike Green coming off the board here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have him as my second best edge rusher after Carter. I have him as number 2. So I think whoever the second team to draft an edge rusher, I think that they should almost 100% take Mike Green. A lot of people have Mikael Williams as number 2. A lot of people have Stewart, James Pierce Jr. These are all guys I think that could potentially go to the Falcons, but I think that the way the draft's going to work out, edge is going to probably be there's the most amount of good guys left by the time we get to 15. I think that you can still take one of those 4 guys that I just mentioned. And I think that they should definitely do that, Atlanta, in this situation, unless, of course, they trade back or like try to maximize the position. But no, I think they should take an edge rusher. And I agree. I think if Green's still on the board, he's my second best edge rusher personally. So I'm happy to go with you on that.
There, perfect. Cardinals. So this is a tough one for me. They have so many needs that like you could say Shamar Stewart here. You could say Campbell, Walter Nolan. There's like a lot of guys, but I went corner. They literally don't have a starting corner right now. I was
Barron?
Barron,
Yeah,
Barron from Texas.
me too.
Yeah.
Yep. Same
So
pick here.
he just makes sense. He can play inside and outside. He can play nickel. He can play everywhere. So he just makes sense here. I don't see another pick that really makes more sense than Barron.
Yeah. We can move straight past that because I had the exact same thing. So we're good there. What do you have the Bengals doing?
So I have them replacing Trey Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M.
Yeah, we're right on the same page again.
He's awesome. His stats aren't jumping off the page crazy. He's one of those guys that like, you know, when you look at his measurables and you look at everything that he does on tape, it's great, but he doesn't have the stats that match that. So that's why he falls. He's super athletic.
He's fucking huge. I'll say that
he's
for him.
huge. So I had him taking Shamar Stewart here. What did you have?
I had Shedeur Stewart also. We're right on the same page again.
There we go.
Yeah, we probably read the same article where the guy was like, "Don't overthink the Bengals draft. They need to replace Trey Hendrickson. Like they're going to replace Trey Hendrickson." And then as far as just who I already had off the board, this was the no brainer pick. So I'm still with you. We're right aligned. Seahawks.
So I have them taking. Who do we have? Ray Zabel, offensive tackle of North Dakota State.
That's 3 in a row. Must be something about the middle of the draft. It must be something about it.
Because you got to protect your quarterback. They got Sam Darnold, and
you play him at guard.
Well, he can play everywhere. He can play center.
Play center. Yeah,
he can play center.
I think they need that too.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to center. I know it's kind of early to take a center, but we've seen what a good center can do for a quarterback. We've seen Jason Kelce in years past, Travis Frederick from the Cowboys. Like a good center makes all the difference. Jeff Saturday from back in the day with the Colts. So I would play him at center personally, but the guy's got the versatility to play pretty much anywhere. He played both tackles, left guard, and center.
He's got a real offensive lineman name too. Like it's if he was made up as an offensive lineman in like computer generated Madden, you'd be like, oh, they're being so lazy about the lineman names these days. Jeez, like Gray Zabel, that's the most lineman-y name. His name might as well be offensive last name lineman. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, cool. Tampa Bay. What happens down there in sunny Tampa Bay?
Is this the first Alabama player and have off? It's one of the first. That's crazy. I have Jahad Campbell, linebacker from Alabama, going here. Inside linebacker is super devalued, I know, but this guy is a beast. He can rush the passer. He can stop the run. The Bucs need up the middle help. His health is kind of a question at this point, but to me, Jahad Campbell just has so many measurables that I just don't see the Bucs passing on him here.
Okay. I had Will Johnson going at this point. I think they need to go defense. based on what they have going on. On my board, I still had a couple of wide receivers that maybe were surprising they hadn't gone yet, but I don't really think they need that. So I think some of the hotter wide receiver prospects fall down a little bit for me. But yeah, I think they have to go defense. But I'm happy to go with you on this one. I think that this could be a take whatever you think is best situation for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I think they were a better team than we thought they were going to be last year, and I'm happy to admit that. But I still think that there's plenty of places they really need to address. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I'm good with it. Let's keep going. Broncos. I had a Amika Egbuka, the Ohio State guy.
Like that.
But yeah, I feel like I was at a point where I had to get him off the board. I think he's really good. I think he's going to be gone by 20. So at this point, I was like, okay, I think if the Broncos took him, that isn't the craziest thing in the world. But what do you got?
I have Omarion Hampton, running back from North Carolina. I just think Sean Payton loves running backs. He hasn't had one since he's been in Denver. He pretty much has everything else to go around that offense at this point. But I do like Ibuka here. I don't hate that pick at all because he is the best remaining wide receiver on the draft.
Yeah.
I still have Ted McMillan on the board. He's not going to be on for much longer. Spoiler alert, but
Yeah.
I don't hate putting Ibuka here. I'm okay with that.
All right. Let's do it then. I just sort of had a little bit of a feeling about it. Wait, because we have you have Ted still on the board, and then you already have Golden gone, right?
Correct. That's
Okay,
I
cool.
have Golden
Yeah,
on the
so
board.
I think it actually makes sense, just even as a collaborative effort based on who you, because my top four wide receivers were Hunter, Tet, Golden, and Egbuka. Those are my top four guys. So
Yeah.
I would love to get those four guys off the board, and I think we're about to achieve that with when Tet leaves. So cool. Let's put Egbuka there. This is where I have something crazy happening. So tell me what the Pittsburgh Steelers do in your mind.
So by crazy, do you mean have him pick Sanders?
Yeah.
Because that would make all the sense in the world. If he drops all
It
the way to
wouldn't be that
21,
crazy. It wouldn't be that crazy for them to pick him if he's still on the board. I get that, but it would be kind of crazy to see him drop all the way to 21, considering some of the offseason conversations we were having about him going like 2. Like if you think back to a month and a half ago, like before like everything really started to happen, I think everyone's in agreement now that he's going to drop. But if he drops all the way to 21 and the Steelers get him, that could be a lot of fun. And it would be not Aaron Rodgers. So I'd be pretty happy about that. What's your thinking?
no, I'm okay with that. I have him taking Walter Nolan because that's just kind of like the easy pick at this point. But Shedeur Sanders makes sense because Aaron Rodgers isn't giving him anything. It's not like Aaron Rodgers is making a decision anytime soon. And the draft is tomorrow. So can you really bank your future? It's not like we have a couple more weeks to, like it's tomorrow. Can you really bank your decision on your future if this guy is sitting here? If you have an opportunity to pick him with your only quarterback being Mason Rudolph in the room right now, like that's not something you can pass on. So I say we put Sanders here for sure. If
Great.
Sanders is on the board, Sanders goes to the Steelers.
Great. I love it. Yeah, because then they actually have something they can like try to do. You know what I mean? And like Arthur Smith can mold them, and it's just I just think it works better. And I think that they're the kind of club that can sort of withstand any pageantry that comes along. Any sort of like my dad is the most famous football player, and has his own reality show, and is also a coach, and all that stuff that comes. Like I think there's teams that could get folded by that. No Tatum, no problem. By the way, if for those of you following along at home. The Celtics have gone up 2-0 despite being without Jason Tatum. A bleeding Kristaps Porzingis led Celtics have defeated the Orlando Magic, just like I said was going to happen on the other show. Go listen to it. It's almost like with no stuff. Cool. Yeah, Sanders going to 21. I like it. How about them Los Angeles Chargers?
I have them sitting within the Harbaugh family and picking Kenneth Grant and tackle from Michigan. It just makes sense. The dude's a beast up front. And Harbaugh loves picking Michigan guys. He loves bringing his own guys in. And he played with them. He won a national championship with him. So this just makes too much sense for me. Kenneth Grant has to go here. It's still on the board. And he coached for multiple years. And the Chargers need defensive help. I wouldn't be shocked to see them take another wide receiver. But they're pretty much set there already. So
I had them taking Mike Green, but I think with how we've done the draft, that's not an option anymore. So I don't really have any big bones to pick with you, which I'm sure will happen more and more often as we go because a lot of my guys are off the board already, or we'll just agree. So yeah, that's fine. I'm good with it. Let's give the Chargers, Kenneth Grant. Yeah, that would look pretty cool. You got to start getting Harbaugh some defensive guys, right? Like you got to start really starting to build that identity over there and really see what they can do. Although when you mention wide receiver, it would be kind of nice to get him someone, don't you think? If you're really riding with Herbert, like you want him to have some weapons.
For sure. Who's the wide receiver they have there? I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
No.
They just picked him this past year.
Who is it? Where is
Craig cut
he?
the show.
Mike Williams.
No.
Loud McConkey.
Chargers. Yeah, Lab McConkey.
Yeah.
They have Lab McConkey. So that's why I feel like it'd be tough for them to take Met here. I just feel like they need more in defense than they do in wide receiver.
Yeah, you're right. Lab McConkey did have a breakout year. So that's fair enough. All right, what about this Green Bay Packers group?
For the first time in almost 20 years, the Green Bay Packers, much to Aaron Rodgers' dismay, finally take a goddamn wide receiver in the first round. I haven't taken Ted McMillan here. He doesn't fall past 23.
That'd be huge for them.
Right. Jordan Love gets another huge target.
Needs another target.
And he needs it.
Because he might suck.
And right now, their top wide receiver is Romeo Dobbs. So that's definitely not getting the job done. If McMillan falls all the way to 23, which is very possible in my opinion, I see them taking him here for sure. It's possible if McMillan comes out as the best wide receiver in his draft. He kind of looks like DK Metcalf when he's playing out there. He's huge. He's fast. He has great hands. His route running needs a little work, but I mean, that's easily.
You can work on that. You can work on that. Okay, that's fine. I hope that doesn't happen because I think he's a really good receiver. I hope they make a bad decision. Who do you have going to the Vikings? My other nemesis.
So I have them replacing Harrison Smith, who is aging out, and picking Malachi Starks from Georgia. He'll be good to play along Smith as he ages out of that position and then take over for him moving forward. Malachi Starks was the captain in Georgia. He was the guy that ran the defense, and that's exactly what Smith does. So I feel like it's just passing the torch right along. Harrison Smith has been their captain since I can even remember. So I definitely need someone in there to take the ropes from him.
Yeah, it's funny because I had the Packers taking Starks, and I had the Vikings taking a safety also and getting Emmanuel.
The guy from South Carolina.
So all that really does is like flip them for me. So I'm fine with that. Let's just slot that in here. I agree with you that I think Starks is the number one. I have him as my number one safety in the draft. So a lot of people have Emmanuel as the number one safety in their draft though. So it's kind of up in the air there. I think either guy could be good. So I think if you're looking safety, there's a little bit of parity there. That's fine. Yeah, they take Starks. That's a good pickup for them. Houston Texans.
So I have Ibuka going here. He's off our board though. So I would say the next pick would be, can never pronounce his name, Emmanuel from South Carolina. I think we'll put him here. Texans, it's either that or another tackle. They move up and try and get a tackle, but I feel like they're more likely to try and get that later in the draft. I like Emmanuel here. I just like Ibuka because takedowns health is an issue. They lost Diggs. If the wide receivers are on the board here, that's what they're going to be looking for. But if they're not there, I'm not 100% sure where they even look, to be honest.
I was thinking they were going to draft Josh Simmons, the tackle of Ohio State that nobody wants to draft because his patella tendon tore in October. But I still think he'd be pretty good. Tyler Booker was on my list for them because I was really thinking they were going.
I like Tyler Booker,
but yeah, that's fine. I'm good there. No argument here because I'd actually love to keep a couple of those guys on the board as we start to get into the weeds here at the end of this draft. So let's see what the Rams do on your board.
So I have them taking Maxwell Harrison, quarterback, Kentucky. He's a little undersized, but his speed's there. He ran a 4.29 40. He's good at man and zone. And I know McVay loves to have the versatility on the defensive side of the ball. It's a little bit of a reach. Know that for sure, but I just feel like it makes sense here for them to add more secondary help.
Yeah, I was thinking if at this point if Starks or Emmanuel were still on the board, they should definitely take them. But I don't like you. I don't think that they will have that option. So I did have them taking secondary help also, but I had Hairston from Kentucky because he has that bananas 40 time, and I think he is also a little bit of a reach. I had basically the exact same situation and thought process as you did. I just went with a different guy. Yeah, okay. Trey Amos, is that you said? Ole Miss? That's your
Oh,
guy?
I said Harrison. We both said Harrison.
Oh, you said Hairston. You said okay. You said oh yeah. I just messed my list up because I had him crossed out, and then I was gonna go with Trey Amos. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously can't argue with you because I was gonna go. I might have gone Trey Amos. I might have gone Hairston. Either way for me. Just yes, I don't think that the two good safeties are gonna still be on the board. So they should take one of those two cornerbacks. I think it's a reach if they take either one of them, but I think it's a decent idea to do it. Okay, take them. Sounds good. The Baltimore Ravens. This is interesting.
I have them taking Booker. You can never have too much offensive line help for the most athletic quarterback in the league.
But also the most unsackable quarterback in the league. Like
very true.
First round like you can't fucking sack that guy anyway.
And yeah, I mean it's very true. But they don't have a starting guard at this point, and I feel like Booker could come in and play both left and right guard. So he's the pick here for me. What do you have?
I had them taking the edge out of Boston College, whose name I can't pronounce.
I have he's coming up.
Izureku.
Yeah,
Just
right.
because to me, like I still think that they had to do a little patchwork on defense last season. And one of the things I really wanted to see more from them is the ability to not have to blitz and still get to the quarterback. I still think that there's room for like a Baltimore Ravens identity on the defensive side of the ball, even if you do have a stud of a QB in Lamar. So yeah, I was gonna have him take that kid out of BC because I think he's gonna be better than a lot of people are saying. A lot of people don't have him coming out of the first round at all. So I can understand if people are enraged right now, but I don't know. He's a speedy pass rusher. I think he really helped. It's sort of the same logic. It's like you can never have too many of those guys. So, like get him in there. Let's just see who can get to the QB the fastest. Race you. So yeah, I would go that way. I draft defense with teams I like. So and I kind of like the Ravens. So here we are. That's fine though. We can go with your pick just so we don't fuck up the list any further. Not a bad thing to do to take a guard. I had the Lions taking Tyler Booker next. So, it makes sense, I guess. We could flip them. We could keep them. Who'd you have the Lions taken?
I haven't taken James Pierce Jr., edge from Tennessee.
Oh, wow. He's still on the board. You're right.
Yeah, he's still there. So
shit. Yeah, that's
with him there. Yeah, adding to Aiden Hutchinson.
That makes more sense then. Let's go with your thing because then if he's still on the board, then we shouldn't be looking at the Boston College kid.
And then next, I have the Boston College kids to the Commanders. Again, just more edge help. In that division, you can never have too much guys coming off the edge with Dak and Jalen Hurts 3 times a year. It kind of replaces the guys that they traded away in past years, in Sweat and all these guys that they had and traded away. So I have them taken. I want Izurako.
Yeah. We'll figure it out if he gets good.
Donovan.
That was pretty close, I thought. That's fair enough. Yeah. If you're right about guys we still left on the board, so I didn't realize that. That's totally fine. Let's do those 3 in that order. In that case, do you definitely have the Buffalo Bills taking a nose tackle? I do. I hope you do too. They need one.
Who do you have taken?
Harmon.
You have him going Harmon? Okay.
Yeah.
I like Harmon going there. I don't hate that pick at all.
Okay.
I have him going a couple picks later, but Harmon works there. Does it make sense for them to take?
Who did you have originally?
Emmanuel. I have him falling to the Bills.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I had him off the board like a little while ago. I think both those safeties are going to be gone.
It's a prize possession this year.
We got to get him off the board though. I think you're right. We got to get him off the board because like he's going to be gone by this point. So I actually think let's put him out. If we still haven't drafted him, then yeah, he's got to go somewhere. It'd be crazy if he went to the Chiefs at that point. If this draft goes this way, that would be kind of nuts. Yeah, maybe.
So we're going
really good safe.
So we're going Harmon at 30.
Yeah, let's go Harmon at 30. No. Let's do yours. No, I think yours is a better idea. I think Emmanuel not being off the board is crazy by this point. I think.
Wait. I think we had him off the board, didn't we?
Did we?
I think we did.
Okay, good. All right, fine. Let's go Harmon then.
Yeah, Harmon goes 30.
Okay, cool. And then the reigning best team, even though they did get dog walked in the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs. Who you got?
they got to take an offensive lineman. I haven't taken Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from Ohio State. He's the last of the top tackles, and he's still on the board there. They obviously need offensive help. They traded Tooney, which didn't make sense to me right after they lost that Super Bowl. They traded one of their best offensive
it was
linemen.
really nice. Thank you so much. I mean, the offensive line looked like shit in that Super Bowl, but I still think they had a lot of good players in there. I think that might have been a scheme issue. I think Tooney's still good, so I'm not that worried about it.
But yeah, I haven't taken Josh Simmons here.
Yep, same. I think they need it. I was thinking the exact same thing. They got rid of too many assets across that offense. I know that Mahomes can work miracles, but you can't put him in danger. You got to get somebody. So I'm good with that. You're gonna have to pick the 32nd though for the Eagles because I had Kenneth Grant going to them, and you took him off the board a while ago. So you tell us who the Eagles are gonna draft at 32 to round out the first round.
I was gonna ask you to pick it because I have Derek Harvich going to the Eagles here, and we just picked him. So
okay.
let's pivot here. This is what GMs have to do, though. You know what I mean?
All right, we got 2 minutes on the board. We can figure this out. Who's still on the board for us here?
Walter Nolan's still on the board.
I don't know. Let me look. Let me think.
I do have them taking D tackles. They love D tackles up the middle, and they did lose that guy to the Patriots. So,
is Jalen Walker still on the board?
No, Walker's gone.
No, of course not. What about Jihad Campbell?
Jihad Campbell's gone.
Yeah.
I feel like Walter Nolan or Trey Amos is still on the board. They can take another corner.
Okay. Yeah. Do that. Take Trey Amos.
Trey Amos? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. That would be really good for them. Damn. Honestly, this first round's deep. I think that's the lesson we've learned here. I think that we drafted all first round prospects from 1 to 32. And I think that there's 2 or 3 guys that are still there that you could get early second round that are going to be legitimate, play every down players for your team. So it's going to be hard to fuck up. I'm sure the Bears will find a way. Any crazy things you want to just point out as we come to a close here that could happen in the second round? Any hopes for the Cowboys in the second round? Deepest positions? Anything you want to say about what happens on day 2?
So there's still a bunch of running backs left on the board. You have both guys from Ohio State.
I'm hoping the Bears pick up one of those guys.
And those 2 guys are definitely, could be day 1 starters in the NFL.
I'm hoping we get Travion Henderson. That's my hope.
Travion Henderson's a beast. Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss is a beast. I also he's not a second round pick. I just like him. Cam Scatterbo from Arizona State.
Yeah, I had him on my list.
He's like a 4th round pick, but he could be a sleeper for someone out there.
I was trying to find a way to get Carson Schwezinger in there into the first round, but I couldn't figure it out. I think he can go day 2 though. I think realistically, if depends on needs. UCLA guy.
Yeah. But I mean, it's pretty much all I got, man. I'm pumped for this year's draft. It's super deep. There's not as many big names as we've had in years past. I feel
a lot of players we're going to see play for a long time, though.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's going to be a lot of trades too. I feel like there's going to be a few trades. I feel like that's happening.
That's going to be exciting. I'm actually looking forward. You've brought me over the dark side. I'm looking forward to watching the NFL draft. I can't believe who I've become. That's what years and years of podcasting will do to you. I do think that there's a couple of wide receivers that are genuinely good still left on the board. I think there's a pretty deep D tackle and edge rush group that you could still go for. But I think the most you're going to see across the second round are going to be offensive linemen. I think there's a shitload of them. I think you're going to see a ton of them drafted in the second round. And I think every team always needs them. So for the Missing the Point podcast, you've just heard our official picks for tomorrow, Thursday, in the NFL draft. We'll talk about it in the Discord as it goes. We'll see how right and how wrong we are. If we're wrong because we're dumb, that's fine. But if we're wrong because those teams are dumb, we're going to come back and make fun of them about it. So tune in for all your draft coverage here on Missing the Point. And obviously, we have another NBA show out this week. It's all content all the time here. So thanks a lot, kids. Good evening.